We're back, and you're watching Hit the Runway in Style with my guest today, Kay Lipsey. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. We had talked earlier in the week, and we were going to do the interview later on in the year, I think, because you're traveling back and forth from California to your hometown. And something occurred, and it worked out that I was able to interview you a little
I think
early.
you made a call to the airline.
So I was like, okay, can y'all stop that plane? I need to interview Kevin. Kay, that's what you go by, Kay.
Lipsey.
And I call you Kevin.
You can call me Kevin.
Okay, but I'm going to call you
only
Kay.
on you, we on that level, people.
Okay,
so
all right, okay. Well, still glad that I had an opportunity to talk to you, to meet you. And
it was a pleasure.
Of course, I've been hearing that song that we're going to talk about a little later on in the show. And I think you're going to play.
Yeah, I'll try to do a little something.
Okay. Now, before we get into the music industry part of it, let's find out a little bit about who is Kay Lipsey.
What do you want to know about Kay Lipsey?
Just whatever you want to share with the audience.
Of course, everybody know. I'm from Mississippi. I let it be known everywhere I go. A native of actually Canton, Mississippi.
Canton, Mississippi.
Yes, ma'am. Canton. So, just music. I don't know. I can't say when I exactly started, but when I started to remember, because my family was actually oriented in music. So
really,
all through middle school, high school, I was involved with music, and stepped away from it for a minute to play football. Oh, okay. Which they say everything happened for a reason.
Right.
So one hit to the knee, and I was back in music. So.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it has evolved since then, and it's still growing. So I'm always learning and always trying to better myself at it.
Okay. Now, I read your bio, and we were talking before we went on the set, and I mentioned something to you about that I read that you were introduced into the music industry at a very, very young age, at the age of 5, and your uncle played a part in that. I think he worked with the Canton Spirituals.
Yeah, he was one of those gospel quartet singers.
Really?
He worked with Canton Spirituals. They had a group, the Songbirds of the South, that did fairly well. And everybody started to take their separate lives, and they I think maybe 2 or 3 of them became pastors of churches. So it kind of they tried to stay back home and focus on the family a lot more. So they came off the road. But the Songbirds of the South.
So you were 5, huh?
I was about 5.
And you were already going into the studio?
And already in the studio. I couldn't touch anything, but I could just stand in the corner.
Stand and look. So that's kind of when actually you got bit by the bug, so to speak. Huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Got bit by the bug. Yeah. Okay. So what kind of happened from that age on? How?
I just kept being intrigued by it. My curiosity kept me trying to research and find different things about it. A good friend of mine, his older brother had a home studio before the home studio thing became popular. Gino, Gino played. Okay. And he used to bring us in. We had a little group called Tenderhearts. But I was like one of the few people that was really serious about it, and I always wanted to work, always wanted to write songs. And, I always say when I see him, I always thank him. Because instead of just pushing me to the side and most people would do, oh, you're too young and you don't know what you're doing, he would always answer all my questions, help me with any lyrics that I was trying to write.
So he was one of your teachers, so
exactly.
to speak,
Yep, exactly. He kind of laid the foundation.
Okay.
Yep, he laid the foundation.
So now you are a songwriter. Producer.
Engineer.
Okay, talk about that. Tell us. Just kind of break all of those up and.
Like I say, started writing very young.
So you write all your songs?
I write all of my songs. I try to write for other people also. I do a lot of, I was staff engineer, writer, and producer for Malico for a few years. Okay. That's where I wrote songs for like Floyd Taylor, Vic Allen, Lerone Powers.
Okay.
Engineer projects on the Mississippi Mass, Marvin C., Shirley Brown.
Oh, so you rubbed elbows with quite a few people. That's good. Now, let me go back a little bit, because we didn't really say what instrument. Let's talk about the instrument.
I don't consider myself a musician, well, let me rephrase that. I grew up, I was trained in drums. So I played snare drum in the marching band and all that. So, I could cut some throat on the snare. But
really?
Anything outside that, I'm always learning. But I do a lot of writing with guitar. I get a lot of my ideas from guitar, and then I, grow it from there. I do mess around on the keys, and basically, it's just always learning, always trying to get a better player to, show me what are you doing, how can I become better. So I'm always striving to be better at what I do.
Okay. So are you kind of on tour in different places? Are you playing in California?
I do a lot of shows in California, a lot of acoustic sets, and most people think I'm an acoustic artist, and I'm not. Mississippi Po' Boy is one of, probably would be the only acoustic song on the album. But I do have quite a few acoustic songs,
really?
Just for acoustic sets, and I enjoy doing it. So I do play shows in California, and I did a few shows in like the Phoenix area, mostly on the West Coast right now. Of course, I was here this week, played a couple times in Mississippi. We're looking to partner with a company in Europe to do a show, well, a few shows,
right?
Come August. So I'll be in probably, we're going to start in Italy. We definitely know that's happening, and it's going to kind of branch out from there. So.
Okay. And when I talked to you earlier this week, and you were, I think, traveling around here in the city doing lots of radio interviews.
Yeah.
Talk about that for a second.
It was beautiful. Everybody is showing me love, the radio programmers, the listeners, everybody. I mean, I'm overwhelmed with how much support that I'm getting from home, and it means a whole lot. Exactly.
You're from home.
A lot of times it's like home is the hardest place to to get that support and get people to believe in you. But I haven't had that feeling yet. So I always tell people, it's like, well, how do you feel to be, where you are and you're from? I'm loving it, because I know I wouldn't be at this place if it wasn't for the people that here, support me. From Mississippi, they definitely support me.
And we are encouraging you. We are encouraging you. We're right behind you.
Thanks a whole lot.
Well, we're going to take a break.